relationships. So have quality contact. I'm not just having, I don't mean just taking random numbers, like you just go to an event and you're just taking people's numbers. You have to be intentional about quality, the quality of the network that it is that you're building, right? Think about the things that you're doing. Think about how both the people, how they can add value to you. All right. So the adding value is not just you adding value to them, it's also them adding value to you, right? You want to build relationships where there's a mutual value exchange. So people can either call you up higher in terms of your own journey, or they're not bringing you down. You don't want to build relationships with people who will come and either criticize the work that you're doing or talk down at you or make you feel less than who you are. Do you understand? So you add value and also recognize how can this person add value to you. So it's a mutual value exchange. These are the 3 key principles I want to share with you. When it comes to networking, when it comes to cultivating relationships. I think that it's easier that way you remember it as a person. So put it for me. Let me be sure that you remember it. What are the 3 key principles that I've shared with you in the chat? Let's just come. Everyone, just share it quickly. What are the 3 principles I've shared to be sure that you heard everything I've said? 3 key principles. 1, 2, 3. Put it. Let it just flow in the chat, right? And then anyone who has a question, I'm happy to take one question right in this moment. Understand your values. Yes. Understand your values. Yes. What else? Understand your value. Yeah. What else? Become a person of value. Yes. Become a person of value. What's the third one? Add value. Brilliant. Add value. For the other 2, then 5, I call it the value cycle, right? It's a value cycle, and it's something that it's repetitive as you journey through life, through the seasons of life, in terms of meeting people, in terms of cultivating relationships, in terms of sustaining relationships. I see some people are advertising here. Are we allowed to advertise? Planning to study abroad. Is that how you're adding your own value? Okay, all right. I'm now going to hand over to the organizers of this session. All right. Who are the organizers? I hope that this has been really helpful. Organizers, can I hand over to you so that I know that I'm done with my own session? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Oh my God. This is amazing. I was just like and how I'm here. So amazing. Thank you so much. Chinonso Clark. This was really exciting. You've heard me. I like to thank you. Okay. So, please, if you have questions, you can. Uche, do you have a question? Before we move on, we're just going to one question. Just one question.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, my question is like this. Okay, I've studied a lot about networking, but the big issue is conversation starters, like in different events. When you see somebody that you want to meet and you're close to the person, how do you start the converse? Apart from somebody you know, somebody that you're just seeing for the first time, how do you start conversation with the person? Because before you kind of...
Okay.
All right. So if it's okay, can I go ahead? Okay. If it's at an event, right, a simple conversation starter can be the theme of the event, right? The conversation, what was the conversation had at the event? That can be a simple conversation starter. Oh, what did you think about this speaker? What did you think about the panel? And you can start that conversation from there, right? So it's looking for mutual points to begin your conversation with. It can be as simple as, where did you get your shirt from? Some people like to use they can say, oh, it depends. Some people will say we use the weather as a conversation starter. That's where investing in yourself comes into the picture, because the more your mind is exposed, the more you have resources within your mind to use as conversation starters. if you're vast in terms of reading, and that's why we encourage people to read. You read about the news, you read about your industry, what's happening in your industry, you read about the recent policies, you read about what's happening with politics. You have material for conversation starters, right? So, and that's where investing in yourself is. So if you have a program, find a neutral point of conversation. What was discussed, the panel, if you don't have a mutual point of conversation or topic, give a compliment. Compliments work, right? Your shirt looks so ironed. Just give a compliment. You can use a compliment to begin conversations, but I think that helps. That would help you. All right.
All right. Thank you. Is it possible for you to still hang around? Maybe let's take question after the second speaker. Is it possible, ma'am? Is it possible?
That's a lot to ask. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very, very much. So, please let's drop our questions in the chat box, and after our second speaker, we're going to now go ahead and answer every question. So, let's just get right into this. So our second speaker is my mentor. He's someone I look up to. He has been the one guiding me throughout this, this marketing industry and all that. My growth, I can't talk about my growth without mentioning Mr. Dami Owolabi. So I'm just going to read through his bio right now, and he will mount the stage here. So Dami is a marketing leader and strategist who has spent more than a decade transforming brands and igniting business growth across Africa and the UK. From shaping multi-market campaigns for KFC, Nestle, Access Bank, Flutterwave, LG, Benoit London, and Palmpay, to driving brand transformation that have delivered double-digit growth and industry-driven impact. Dami has built a reputation for turning complex challenges into powerful stories and measurable results. He is the Chief Executive of Ingenium Communications, an independent marketing agency based in Lagos and London, where he and client growth across fintech, retail, and consumer brands. He's also the founder of Brand Forge, an initiative designed to equip young professionals and final year university students with the tools, skills, and mindset to forge impact careers in marketing. What sets Dami apart is his unique dual perspective, having led both agency teams and client-side marketing organizations. He understands what brands truly need from their partners: commercial rigor, strategic clarity, and creative execution that inspires. It is this blend of strategy, creativity, and commercial acumen that's earned him the name the brand and business alchemist. Today, he's not just building brands, he's shaping the next generation of marketers, influencing industry, and showing businesses how to turn vision into value. Please, let's use the chat box, let's use the reactions. Let's just welcome Mr. Dami. Sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you guys hear me? I just want to be sure you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for, it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'll just dive into it very quickly. But before I begin, I want to thank you, Peace, founder of Starlight Group, for inviting me to be a part of this conversation. What you have here, I'll say what you have here it's nothing. It's totally beyond the webinar, totally beyond the conversation. What you're doing here is you are creating a space where founders and professionals can find courage. So I commend you for that so very much. I commend you for that. Also, on your organization's 5 years anniversary, I think it's a good thing to commend you as well, I was reading a couple of things about it, and I saw that, 500 projects, 5 countries, industries and all of that. And I think you forgot to include sleepless nights in it. I think a lot of times we overlook the sleepless night. So I commend you and your team for that. And I am equally honored, to be speaking alongside Chinonso. Just recently as well, I read about what she's doing, and a lot around the August event. I think the youth can lead event. And one thing that struck out for me, Chinonso, I'm sure you can still hear me, is how you mentioned how young people, young leaders need not use AI for just content and social media. Like we've reduced AI to TikTok, to content, to socials, and how we should leverage AI to solve Africa's deepest problems. That scope of vision is truly inspiring, and I commend you for that as well. Thank you for the amazing things you're doing with Lead for Good Africa as well. Okay, guys, let's get right into it, and I think I'll just continue from where Chinonso stopped. And just like Chinonso, just like what she's spoken about, I'm not here to sound. I'm not here to sound like, like giving you networking tips, right? You can go on AI to get that. You can go on Google to get that. I'm just here to share some thoughts about you, about networking, some things that I feel a lot of us, I'm still also growing in it, trust me, but a lot of us just need to evolve as much as possible. And I think a good quote to start with, and that I try to live by as much as possible, is this: opportunities don't float in the air, they hang on people. Guys, I want everybody to please pay attention. Opportunities don't float in the air, they hang on people. But there is a mistake that most founders and professionals, there's a mistake we make. We approach networking like hunters, right? In the few minutes I will be speaking, around hunting and farming. So just keep that. I'll be referencing, the concept of hunting and the concept of farming as much as possible. So a lot of us, we approach networking like hunters. We're chasing people, we're trying to pitch, we're trying to close a deal quickly. If everybody you meet must write you a check. I think that's the mindset we carry into it. And that's a mentality of a hunter, And the problem is this: hunting might get you one meal. I'm just trying to use something very relatable. Hunting might get you one meal today, maybe, but it doesn't build a future. Guys, networking in his raw form, right, is not hunting, it is farming. It's about planting seeds. Chinonso spoke about value. It's about planting seeds. It's about nurturing them. It's about reaping the harvest that feeds you for years. Let me tell you something. There are some relationships I've been nurturing for 2, 3, even 3 years that I've not reaped. I've not even gotten a dime from it. I'm not even looking forward to getting a dime. Because let me tell you something. When you network with people and they see that you are after getting something, they can tell. They can tell. I live in the UK now, but I still come to Nigeria because I have a business in Nigeria all the time. And there was a club I was going to join in Nigeria. I won't mention the club for obvious reasons. We have over 50 people here, but it's a social club in Nigeria. And they were bold in my interview. They asked me, why do you want to join the club? Guys, I knew I wanted to join the club. I was looking for business. But deep in my mind, I would have been foolish to say I was looking for business. I was like, oh, I just need somewhere to relax, somewhere to recreate, somewhere to connect, somewhere to add value, and things like that. And that was what made them give me a membership of that club. Guys, networking in the truest form, I said it earlier on, is hunting, not farming. So, and today what I want to try and do is to share a blueprint with you that can help you in this hunting game that we want to start. So, what is hunting? Hunting will always fail. Let me repeat myself, guys. Hunting will always fail. Because I'll tell you what hunting looks like. Hunting is you attend an event and try to talk to as many people as possible, and you have your business card in your chest pocket or in your bag, and you literally want to hand it over to everyone like a souvenir. That's hunting. You pitch yourself aggressively. You're like, oh, here's my card. This is what I do. Let's connect. See, that is hunting. You follow up when you need something. That is hunting. Like, do you know how good I feel when people just call me and they say, oh, I just called to check up on you. I'm like, wow. Because let me tell you something. As a business owner, at times it can be a very lonely journey. Yeah, it can be a very lonely journey. So when you get someone to call and say, hey, I just thought to check up on you, hope you're doing good, it makes a lot of sense. And, that is farming, not hunting. Because there's some people that will call you that you will not take their calls. And there's some people that will call you, you already know that this is problem. This person just wants to take from me. So with this approach, people feel about to be used. People know that you want to use them when you're hunting. When you are hunting, they know that you just want to get the next deal because you've read about them, that they are doing something. That is why you want to connect with them. They know. For instance, I bridge a lot of movements of, brands looking to establish in the UK. I do that a lot. So when some people talk to me, I know you just want to milk from it. You just want to spend time to zap my brain. So with this approach, you know that you are burning energy. You are building no trust. Guys, let me tell you something. Hunting makes you busy. Farming makes you fruitful. Hunting makes you busy and farming makes you fruitful. Let me tell you about a farming mindset. Just like a farmer does not expect to plant today and harvest tomorrow. A farmer does not expect to plant today and harvest tomorrow. Farming requires patience. I'm just using something very relatable. Farming requires patience. It requires care. It requires consistency. That is what networking should be for you. It's not about you want to close that deal, you want to get something immediately, but it's something that it must require your patience, it must require your care, and it must require consistency. I don't mean you should stalk people, but you need to be interested in what is important to them. For instance, imagine this was a physical meeting, right? Like in-person meeting. I've never met Chinonso. But because I'm speaking alongside Chinonso, the onus is on me to go and read about Chinonso. And Chinonso said it. That's what social media is for. So I went online and I read about Chinonso. And let me just cast myself. Everything I said about the AI thing, which I was like, wow, this is very profound. I just read about it, I think yesterday or so. And, I'm trying to make it but I'm sure when I was talking about it, you would have thought, oh, I've read about it a long time ago. If it was an in-person conversation, I might not even speak about this networking event. I'll be like, oh, what you said about the AI thing was very profound. A lot of people just use AI and we will laugh about it, we'll banter about it. I'll tell her my AI experience. I might end that meeting and be like, oh, what AI tools do you use for maybe videos, or do you use for content, or do you use for strategy? And she will share with me. And at that point, I might even be like, oh, do you mind typing it to me? I would appreciate, because I can't, I probably can't get it as you're saying it. And by that, we've exchanged numbers. And I can be like, oh, or she might be like, she also can be like, oh, what AI tools do you, because we'll just be discussing AI. She might be like, oh, what AI tools do you use for design? Do you use for something? And I'll be like, oh, I know a couple, And see, even if I know it there and then, I won't tell Chinonso that I know a couple and, oh, these are the AI tools. I'll be like, oh, let me get your number and I'll just text them to you or email them to you at the end of today. Guys, I've gotten a phone number without asking for a phone number. And that is what farming. And you know what? By the time I go back, I'm going to do more deep research on what I think she would need in terms of AI tools. I will ask people, I'll tell my EA, go and look at this person. What kind of tools do you think the person will need? By the time I'm sending Chinonso those tools, I'll be like, hey, these are some other tools that I think you might need. In fact, this one is very good. I've used it before, or something like that, or the recommendation about it is solid. You can use it. So, see, everything I have said to you, that's not hunting. That is farming. That is farming. So, farming is different. See, networking as farming. Let me tell you what it looks like. Oh, God help me. It says, it's like you plant seeds, but showing up authentically and clearly because you are planting seeds. Let me tell you another thing. You water the seeds by following up, checking in, and adding value. Let me tell you how to add value. Again, Chinos, I'm so sorry I'm using you as my case in this conversation. Now, I'll follow up with Chinos, so maybe another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and be like, oh, how is it going with the tools? And she might be like, man, I've just been very busy. I've not had time for it. I've not this, I've not that. And that conversation can be like, oh, okay, you've been busy. I can imagine it happens like that. And I won't just keep quiet there. I'll be like, oh, what's the interesting thing you're working on? And she might share that, oh, we're trying to plan a boot camp and this and that. And I'll be like, oh, boot camp, where? And she'll be like, oh, we're thinking of Kenya. And I'll be like, oh, I've been to Kenya a couple of times. Let me know if you need any support in Kenya. See, guys, I've still not told her in all of this conversation that I run a marketing agency and I can help them with communication. We can help them with designs. We can help them with ads. We can help them with anything. I've still not communicated that. But just leveraging on what she also spoke about in terms of value, I'm just giving value. What is this value I'm giving? I'm watering the seed. A seed has been sown when we met, and I'm just watering the seed. Why? Because I'm going to harvest later. I will harvest. But a lot of us, we want to harvest immediately. There's a business I've been chasing for 2 years. That business did not come through until this year. Massive business. It didn't come through until this year. So you must have that mindset, not as a hunter. Something I want you to remember in this conversation is this. Like, for instance, myself and children, when I have to tell you, oh, do this, go there early, dress well, all those things are given. You can get that on ChatGPT. But you need to understand that you must have the mindset of a farmer. And that's one thing I want to leave you with. Let me share a story. Let me share. And I have tons of stories that I can share. Tons and tons of stories that I can share with you. There was a time I went for an event, right, where I almost left without speaking to anyone because it happens like that. Every event is not for me. And I'm being very sincere with you. It's not every event I meet people. And it's hard for me to go for an event and not meet people because I'm also very careful of the kind of events I go for. So I don't just go everywhere. So the ones I go for, I know the specific people I want to meet. And there's a rule of 5. I must just meet 5 people and I'm done. I don't need to talk to everybody. There's a rule of 5 that, I operate in. So I was almost left. I was going to leave that event without speaking to anyone. But I told myself, plant one seed before you leave here. Plant one seed before you leave here. That's what I tell myself, plant a seed. So I had a short, genuine conversation with one person. I followed up like 2 days after, and I wasn't asking for anything. I was just appreciating the conversation, and let me tell you what I said. I told the man, I said, thank you for your company at the event. I was almost getting very bored. I'm telling you, and you might be like, that's another angle. Yes, that's another angle. I just appreciated the conversation. And what were we speaking about? I can't even remember, but it was just something very random. Something just random. I think, okay, we're talking about electric vehicles. Yes, that was what we're speaking about. We're speaking about electric vehicles. It was not an event connected to electric vehicle, but it was just something around EV. And I know that the guy has some interest in EV. So we're just speaking about electric vehicles, and that was the conversation we had. Let me tell you something, guys. That seed, that simple seed, it grew from that person, not me even doing anything with that person. That person introduced me to someone else months later. And the person was like, he just called me and said, "Oh, Dami, are you in London?" I said, "Yes, I'm in London." He said, "Oh, I'd like you to speak with this person. He's coming from," it was an Indian. He said, "He's coming from China or something. And it's like his second time in London. He's trying to connect with African London, blah, 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 blah." And I found myself on a project that gave me global visibility I was doing something with the crypto business then. See, guys, looking back, it wasn't a big break. It was a small seed that was watered faithfully and grew into a harvest. Someone was going to come. He wanted to do crypto, and that was it. And it was totally off the EV. But guess what? Anytime I'm surfing, in fact, my assistant, no, there are people that, quote and unquote, I work for them. What do I mean by working for them? My assistants must check what they are up to. Sorry guys, my assistants must check what they are up to, what they are posting, what they are saying, what is all around them. And I must develop content, not like stalk them with links, just get it 2-3 links and be like, "Oh, I went through this and I think it will be helpful for you." And they're always like, "Wow, this is so beautiful. Thank you." Let me tell you something. My last trip to London, I was on a flight with a CEO of one big business that they do plantain chips. This might sound very foolish, guys. They do plantain chips. They manufacture plantain chips. They have a farm and all of those things. And this organization is in its billions. And I was talking to him that, "Oh, I'm a marketing professional. What's his thoughts about marketing?" I didn't even tell him I was a marketing professional. I was just asking him on the flight that, what's his thoughts about marketing. And he was like, he doesn't believe in marketing. He just believes when you do a product, the product would sell. When you have your distribution in place, you have the production cycle okay, you have the distributors. He mentioned very valid things, trust me. And I didn't even sell, I didn't even argue. In fact, because I knew he's a bit elderly, and because I knew that was his mindset, I kind of just massaged that ego and I helped him as well. I said, "Yeah, you're very correct. If your distributors are solid, they would pick it up and push it and you give them incentives." He said, "Yeah, incentives, and we grew and grew in that conversation. Guess what, guys? As soon as I got off that flight and I got to my house, 2 days after, I sent him a report from KPMG on the future of, on the next 5 years of plantain chips growth and how it's going to be in the billions, it's going to be exported, it's going to be in, supermarkets globally and all of those things. I sent this man just a link into that article and that report, data packed, focus group and everything. Guys, since that time, the man has been like, "Oh, there's a place of branding in this conversation. You said you're a marketing person. How can you help? What are the things you can do?" And let me tell you something, guys. We've started on another journey of conversation. In fact, I'm in Nigeria in a few weeks, and he's one of the people I'm coming to see. He's been in London twice since March, and I've seen him in that twice that he has come. I've been extremely relevant to that guy. Guys, I could have been like, "Oh, you should be doing marketing. Marketing is the best thing to do." And I might just have been arguing like a fool. But I came from the place of value. I showed him the future of his industry that he's probably not aware of or is aware of, but he needed validation from a third party, right? That I did. So those are the things you need to think of from time to time. And, I can go on and on and on. Guys, for every meetup, for everybody you meet, you must have a different line of introduction for them. A series of introduction for different people. I don't have the same introduction for everybody. Although it still revolves around who I am and what I do, but I know, it's just different for everybody. And they are very foolish. They are not technical. A lot of us, when we want to introduce ourselves, we introduce ourselves with a lot of technical jargons. It doesn't work that way. Some people don't care about it. Even me, I don't care about it. Make it very simple. Make it very simple. So let me tell you, as I begin to wrap up and probably take some questions, the farming blueprint that I'm speaking about, not the unseen one, the farming blueprint, it has some steps, and I'm going to just share those things and I begin to wrap up. Number one, you must plant. Guys, you must plant. The same way you see a big tree at the back of your house, in your grandma's house, in your farm, on the road, it started from a seed that was planted. That big tree was not just planted immediately. So you must plant. How do you plant? You must present yourself clearly. I'm telling you now about the blueprints of farming. You must present yourself clearly. See, guys, don't confuse people with long titles or complicated jargons. I said that earlier on. We're in a gathering. Just give me 30 seconds. Tell me who you are, what you do, and the value you add. That's all. That appeals to the kind of audience of the place you are in at that point in time. Oh, I help businesses to see. There's a way you tell me you help businesses to, and I look at you. I'm like, are you open to help businesses? Because when you say you help businesses, it can't be 5 businesses. We must be saying 20. We must be saying 20 to 50 businesses that you have helped. And these are not just, startups. There must be a recommendation. See, you don't introduce yourself into the future. You introduce yourself into your present state and state what you can do that will be a transforming outcome. So, how do you do this in presenting yourself? You share who you are, what you do, and the value you bring in a clear line. I'll repeat myself. You share who you are, what you do, and the value you bring. And this will vary from meetings to meetings, gatherings to gatherings. See, I use an iPhone. On my iPhone, on my notepad, I have intros. I have a note that is just subject intros. And when I'm going for a meeting, I'm like, okay, which intro am I going to use here? And I look at it, I'm like, this is the one I'm going to use. And that's it. Number 2, you must follow up meaningfully. I'm just wrapping up everything I've said earlier on. You must follow up meaningfully. Guys, maybe not follow up immediately that day, but maybe the next day or the day after, and follow up with value. You must follow up meaningfully because, see, the person will forget about you. So you must follow up meaningfully. And you must be generous. Guys, share resource, send an article, introduce them to someone. Share resource. Like act like you are working for them. That's one thing I do a lot. I act like I'm working for people. I have time blockers in my calendar where I'm just looking at how can I source for something to share with this person. It's as simple as that. You must be generous, guys. You can't just want to take from them. Watering them is sending them a book, is sending them an ebook, is sending them an article, is sending them something. I'm not saying send them memes. In fact, if the memes add value to them or add value to their business, you can send it. Remember, guys, farmers water consistently, not once. Let me repeat myself. Farmers water consistently, not once. If you do not water, if a farmer does not water, it's impossible for that plant or for that fruit that you're trying to grow to deliver fruit for you. The same way that things will not deliver the billions, the $1 million that you want to get from them, they will not deliver because you have not watered. And that takes me to the last point. You will harvest. How do you harvest? Build genuine connections. Don't forget, the first thing is to plant, the second thing is to water, and the third thing is to harvest. How do you harvest? You build genuine connections. Don't just chase transactions, guys. Don't just chase transactions. Like lots of young people, like you sit on LinkedIn, make useful comments, understand where people are, look at their organization, understand how you can support. Just see, you must chase, you don't chase transactions. You don't chase transactions. See, to network as well, you must be very generous. Buy gifts for people. Like, I'll be shocked if there's anyone in this now is not aware that Chinonso is all after the natural air thing, because she said it herself. When I checked about her, I noticed as well. So that's something. Like, you can be like, oh, Chinonso, what do you use for your hair? I know you're very picky, but have you seen this? I've heard a lot about it, and that might just be a conversation starter. See, over time, the relationships you've watered will bear fruit. For those that are Christians, I don't know that line, but let me tell you something, right? Over time, the relationships you water, it will bear fruit for you. See, I agree that some will not bear fruit, and that's it. That's life. It's life. There are some relationships that have watered that have not bear fruit. It's okay. But there are some that they will bear fruit. There's an MD of a fintech company in Nigeria that my company in Lagos used to work for. And, we used to work for him. And ever since we stopped working for them, when I call him, he won't take my calls. And I've come to realize something, that when people don't take your calls, I don't even take it to heart. I don't get angry. Like, a lot of people, I'm sure there are people on this call that when people don't take your call, you're angry. And what does it feel like? What does it this? My brother, my sister, add value. Add value. Guess what, guys? I hope I can say this. Yeah, I think I can. This guy, he wasn't taking my calls. And it was just like that for a while. Or I message him, he's in a meeting. He was just ghosting me. Guys, I could have walked away and be like, what's all this nonsense? You see you, I'm a CEO, am I right? All those kind of things. But I didn't even think of it that way, because I knew this guy was not like this. It was just a function of value. Then I got to find out that there were some transactions. They were trying to, sign up a license in the United States. They're trying to get IMTO license. They got it in Nigeria. They needed to sync with some banks in the United States. And I knew a guy that was a top guy in a bank in the United States that can help. Guess what? This will shock you guys. I just picked my phone and I sent him a WhatsApp. Hi, XYZ. I was in conversation with this person, someone in so place, and I think it would be good for you guys to have a meetup, because I read that you guys are trying to do this sort of expansion in the United States. Guys, can I shock you? He replied me immediately. Immediately I sent. He replied me, he said, Dami, let me call you in 20 minutes. He called me back in 15 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I'll just put that guy on the call, on this same call. And I put that same guy on the call, and everything is just going so well. Now, every transaction they're doing is copying me in the email, is blind copying me. I'm getting involved in all of those things. Guys, value. And again, watering it. Watering it. As I begin to close, let me talk about the do's and don'ts, because I know Peace especially said, let's talk about do's and don'ts. Again, these are things I've said in everything I've said. I'm just trying to compartmentalize it. Number one, do's. Prepare a clear and short introduction. And that is how you plant well. Always have a clear and short introduction. Don't make it look like you crammed it. Just always have a clear and short introduction about yourself. Number two, always follow up consistently. That is watering. I've spoken about that. Number three, treat everyone as valuable. Number three, treat everyone as valuable. You bump into someone in the restroom, you bump into someone at the car park, you bump into someone on the walkway. Treat everyone you come across as valuable everywhere you go to. You go to church, you go to the restaurant, you go to the eatery, you go to the hotel lounge, anywhere you go to, you fly private jet, you fly the business class, anywhere you go to, treat everyone as valuable. Because let me tell you something, guys, sometimes the smallest seed produces the biggest tree. Let me repeat myself. The smallest trees at times produces the biggest tree. And let me talk about don'ts. Don'ts. Number one, don't pitch too early. Please, and please, don't pitch too early. Don't pitch too early. Don't pitch too early. Seeds need time before they harvest. Seeds need time before they harvest. Number two, don't ghost people until you need them. Don't ghost people until you need them. Don't ghost people until you need them. Number 3, don't despise small conversations. Don't despise small conversations. See, one seed can change your future. So, small conversations, don't despise them. So, this is my challenge for you guys. In the next 7 days, plant a seed. How do you plant a seed? You craft your 30 seconds introduction that you have handy. Like if they wake you up, you have it handy. 30 seconds introduction. You follow up with one person you have recently met. So I'm just giving you an action. Like go through your contact. Like there are people on your contact that you've abandoned. You follow up with one person that you have recently met. And number 3, I would say that reconnect with one person, with one contact that you have neglected. Think of it. All the things I've said, all the things Chinonso has said. Think of something that you can use to reconnect yourself, with an old contact, and then start watering it. Start watering it. Start watering it. Let me say this to you as I wrap up. Guys, don't just network to hunt for contact. Network to farm for relationships. Don't network to hunt for contact. Network to farm for relationships. Some relationships, you might not even be the one that will need it, but you will connect them to someone that will help you. Let me repeat myself. There are some relationships that, like, I want to build a relationship now with maybe Yusuf Olajide, for instance. But in the real sense of it, there is nothing Yusuf Olajide can do for me. And I'm saying that with all due respect, There's nothing, like, I don't know who you are, even Yusuf Olajide. I'm just using it as an example because you're the one in front of me. There is nothing Yusuf can do for me. Maybe Yusuf is a doctor or something, and I don't have any business with him. But I would nurture that relationship with Yusuf, send him a gift on his birthday, check on him, know what is going on. Because Uche Okoro, that is my own friend, I can connect him with Yusuf. And by connecting Yusuf with Uche, Uche will see me as more valuable and do more business with me because Uche is the CMO of MTN that will give me business. But I've connected Uche with Yusuf. Oh, wow. I didn't even know. Well, wow. Yeah. Yusuf just wrote, I'm a health and safety professional. Wow, that's good. So I can connect Uche with Yusuf. But Yusuf cannot do anything for me. But Uche is the person I need in my life. And Uche is my friend. And I've connected them. And Uche will see me as valuable. And that is why it's extremely important that some relationships will not give you food, but it's good you have them on your contact. There are lots of places I'm in, and someone is like, oh, do you know anybody in British Airways? British Airways. Oh, I know someone. See, that social capital is what is extremely important for you. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to make you understand that if you have been hunting as a networking strategy, that is the old school way of doing things. The global way of networking, creating value, penetrating people, making more money, getting out there must be farming and not hunting. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you. This was really, really insightful for me. Oh my God. Thank you so much for that session.
You're welcome.
Let's just quickly take questions. Please type your question. Okay. Let's just take questions. Okay, Olukoni. I hope I well. Can you unmute and just ask a question quickly? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Dami. Thank you very much, Miss Chinonso. I'm glad I'm here. Okay, I have one question for Miss Chinonso and two questions for Mr. Dami. The question from Miss Chinonso, she mentioned something about global language, and I almost forgot what she said about using AI. I ran to ChatGPT and I was like, global language, but it didn't give me a direct instructions or what it is. So I want you to explain more about what you mean by global language in networking. Then to Mr. Dami, my first question is, how do I really find the interest of people? There are people that have reached out to via social media. I've told them how I can be valuable to them. But based on what Mr. Lamy has taught, I've seen where I've missed it. How do I find what they'll be interested in and what will help them? Because these people seem omnipotent, like they seem like they are self-sufficient and they are very good at what they are doing. They don't need help. So how do I know their interest and how I can help them? And then you mentioned AI. So I leverage AI in, I think this question goes for Ms. Chinonso and Mr. Dami too. How can I leverage AI in networking? How can I use AI to network to people and practicalize what you have taught us today? Thank you very much.
Okay, so just right before Mrs. Chino asks question, because please let's have our questions on the box. Let's have our questions on the chat box. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, Oyebola, please just write your question in the chat box. Okay, over to you, Mrs. Clark. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dami, I've been following your work, for years now. So, ever since I heard about you, let me just tell you, I started following your work, and Peace, of course. I heard about you from Peace, and then I must say well done. And absolutely spot on everything that you shared today. I will just answer the question quickly. When I was speaking about understanding that the world is smaller and your ability to speak a global language, I was talking about the values that make for mutual respect and human interaction. So that's what I meant, that we should be able to speak to people that are not of the same origin as us. We should be able to go beyond race, be able to go beyond background, right? Be able to go beyond gender in terms of networking, in terms of cultivating relationships. And what that looks like is knowing the basic tenets of human interaction, which looks like mutual respect, which looks like integrity, which looks like honesty, because that's where we're able to build relationships with people who don't come from our own country. Because there's a tendency to just think about networking from the perspective of just Nigerians or depending on your own nationality. But as founders, as leaders, business owners, think about Mr. Damina, who is interacting with people in the UK. He must be able to cultivate relationships, right, with people who don't have the same color of skin as he does. And that's where that human principles, human-centric leadership, human-centric interactions comes into the picture. And I hope that I've explained it. That's what I meant by, having a global perspective. I'm going to leave the AI conversation for Mr. Dami because he really talked about it. So I'll leave him to answer the question on AI. All right.
But you are the AI professional. You told us about AI. Thank you so much, Chinonso. And I think I'll still want you to also mention a few things about AI. I'll say two things, right? First question on social media. See, let's be very real, right? If you just send me a DM that, oh, how can I help you? What can you help me? I won't answer you. Or I might just give you a very polite answer to say, everything is okay. If there's a room for support, I will let you know. Let me tell you one thing we need to do, and which I do as well. Before we jump at people, let's show support for their work. Before you jump at people to ask them for things, because truth be told, they are self-sufficient. Like, I'm sure, again, sorry I'm using Chinonso, I'm sure she has queue of people that are ready to do EA, do VAs, do LPAD, do something. There are tons of people that can help do a lot of things. So, how do you do that? Make yourself noticeable. How do you make yourself noticeable? Comment on their post. wise comment. Don't just put fire emoji and put thumbs up. No. Comment on their post. Reshare what they are doing. Anywhere, maybe on LinkedIn, on Instagram, anywhere. Comment on it, make a very smart comment. Share what they're doing, repost on your page. They will see it one day. They might not see it all the time, but they'll see it one day. When that visibility is clear over like a month, thereabout, then when you make a demand, they already know you. They already know you. They know that this person is just not coming to make something from my network, right? So that's one thing I will say to you, that before you say, oh, how can I help you? Because see, there are EAs, there are VAs, there are drivers, there are support staff, there are employees, there are lots of people, for quite a number of people that you might want to connect with. But when they see that genuine, let me tell you something. So I recently launched a mentorship program, and it's not free because it's discounted, heavily discounted, because I'm doing it one-on-one. And there's a guy that almost every of my posts on LinkedIn, he always reposts it. When the guy signed up, I told my assistant, the team putting it together, I said, this guy must do it for free, that we're not going to collect money from this guy. Because see, that support, I have followers, I have people reading. It's not like I needed it per se, but I found it very, very demure and very nice of him, right? So, and that was my only tool of saying thank you. So that's on that. On AI, I think a lot of us have not used AI as much as we should, right? As much as we should. I'm a Christian, and with all apologies to non-Christians here, the same way a lot of Christians have reduced the Holy Spirit to just speaking in tongues. The Holy Spirit speaking in tongues is just 2% or even 1% of what the Holy Spirit can do for us. That's the same way a lot of people have not used the juice of AI, as simple as ChatGPT. How do you do it? Pick the person's name, pick the person's company, find a short overview, slam it there, and tell AI what you want. Let me tell you something. Yesterday, again, let's be vulnerable. Yesterday, I copied Chinonso's name, our company, and I slammed it there. I said, I'm speaking alongside Chinonso. Tell me 5 things I must know about her. I saw the air thing. He gave me link of air. I saw the speaking thing she did with Nia Desonya and all of those things. I saw the Bella Laija link. He gave it to me. I read the article. I didn't see the article before today. I saw something that Chinonso did in June 2024, and AI was telling me to reference it, and I'm like, no, now 2024, that's too old. Why would I be referencing something of June 2024? I trashed that, and I just say, you know what? I don't want to pick the air thing because she's a lady. Again, that's where common sense comes in. I'm not that familiar with Chinonso. Why would I just come and be talking about her hair, and I'm a guy? She might feel offended. So it's not everything you now see that you jump at. I was able to identify 2 things. One was the air, 2 was the AI thing. And I said, you know what, I'll go for the AI thing. That's because that sounds like something I really liked as well. We should do so much more with AI. And I picked on it. See, those are the things AI will do for you. You won't even stress yourself. So you must be able to ensure that your input in it, what you key into it, must make a lot of sense, and you supply enough information, then you get it and you run from there. But if you don't, you just be running up and down, and you might not even be careful. And you must read as well. Like, for instance, I could have been referencing something of 2024, and she has done many, many more important things from 2024 till now. But she's just like, what sort of, this guy's a non-global guy. Why is he talking to me about my 2024 when I've just done something in August 2025? So those are the things the AI will do for you, and those are the benefits AI will do for you. Put in the details, do your own basic research, slot it in, do your prompt well, and you're going to get the feedback you need to get. So I think those 2, I think I've been able to answer those 2 questions. Thank you.
100%. 100%. I don't know whether I don't. Okay, but let me add and just emphasize the key to leveraging AI is prompting. right?
Yeah.
Once you're able to prompt, and that's where we need to scale up. Once you're able to prompt, it's easy. So you can help, AI can help you with developing strategy for your organization. AI can help you with even, there's a certain level of foresight that I see AI, with in this, as the more I interact with it, because it has previous knowledge, it's able to also give you foresight for your industry. So prompting is the key. Once you're able to prompt well, it's a brilliant tool, and it's a tool that for the Christians that are here, and I love the fact that the fact that Dami spoke about the Holy Spirit, because I was just thinking to myself, let's not go that way. But for the Christians that are here, if you still keep thinking about AI as a demonic tool, what's going to happen in the next few years is that it will leave you behind. So you need to, the way that AI is just going, let us all leverage it in terms as founders, as business owners, as leaders, so that we can use it in creating solutions and then in shortening the time. When we're praying about acceleration, Lord, accelerate me. That's a tool for acceleration right there. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Oyebola, let's hear your question.
Oh, thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mr. Danny. So please, I have a question. I'll try to make it quick. Yes, when it comes to networking and and following up is it the watching? Yes, I do that when I go to an event and I see people of value. I exchange contact and I also follow up either maybe a day after or 2 days after. I send a message. This is me. This is everybody we met at the event. So I just said to say hi, have a nice day. So I usually do that. So because I know that a time will come I may need this person. So that won't be the first contact. Then also I'm not usually in their faces. Maybe like Christmas, I don't send Happy New Month all the time. So I'm used to do that. But now my question is now for some people. Sometimes people acknowledge, sometimes people totally ignore. I mean, I'm not even asking you for anything. I'm just saying hi, we met and just reconnecting. Some people totally ignore. They totally ignore. Now, this is my question. There's some people that, okay, now, like, so for example, someone may met at an event. I'll give like a practical example. This person is an ED in a bank and actually need the MD for something. So I mean, this is me that has been, dropping messages to say hi before. Maybe the first time I just got a response like that, okay, or thank you. Then after that, I've been sending messages to greeting messages and no response. So this time I went straight to the point, saying what I want. That this is what I do and this is why I need you. I mean, so can you let me know when you're available for a quick call so we can discuss? No response. I also did a follow up and okay, please so in places like that now, there's a place of maybe someone is the owner of the organization and so that's the place of value. I understand like the example you gave. Now this person, they know that they're not the owner of the organization and they know that you need them because of their position. So in this kind of instance, how does one handle it? Because when it comes to value, it's not about the person or their office. So I'm thinking, what kind of value can you actually add to this person? Yes, it's their office I need, and it's just a position. It's not about them or their organization. They don't own the organization. They're just on that seat for now. So that's my question.
Okay. Thank you for that. I think my answer will be very, very a bit direct, right? And what I'll say to you is there are different roads to get to a destination. There's hardly a destination that has one road. Hardly. Well, maybe only heaven that has one destination, that has one road, right? So what I'll say to you is look for someone else. That person is not your gateway. There are different gateways. So just look for someone else. The fact that the person is an ED, and that's what I said earlier on. The fact that the person is an ED, the person might never have a relationship with the MD. And guess what? It might be the head of driver or head of protocol of that bank, or even the security guy that you might just need to say, I need to get into this strong house. I need to penetrate this company. So that's very important. That's number one. Number two, must it be the MD? So see, you need to learn to break down problems as much as possible. Because at times there are some things you want to chase that might frustrate you. Because even if you get the MD today, that the MD or the office of the MD, there's MD and there's office of the MD. for the office of the MD to even give you an attention on what you're trying to pitch or what you're trying to push, no matter the value, it will take some time. So break it down as much as possible. See the lowest indicator that you can see. Connect to the lowest indicator that, okay, you're putting a follow-up question. Yes, it's the MD because of what I want to use that for. Okay, if that's the case, then it's okay for you to look for someone else to take you to the MD. That person you're trying to reach is not your gateway to the MD. Because even if you share with the person, it might just kill it. So look for people, like tons of people. Go on LinkedIn, go on social media. There are tons and tons of people that take you to the MD. If it's a bank with a lot of branches, a branch manager can take you to the MD. It depends on how critical, what you're chasing for is. That's number one. Then you said something earlier on, and I think I touched it when I started speaking as well. When people don't respond, don't feel bad. Like a long time ago, I didn't even feel bad when people don't respond to me anymore. This is Peace on this call. Peace is very close to me. Very close. Ask her how many times I even respond when she sends me a message at times. Maybe 3 days after. Peace, are you there? And it's not like at times I didn't even see it. Peace, can you come up? When you send me a message,
Yes,
how long does it take me at times to respond to you? Even you. So how much more someone else? As in, Peace, talk. How long does it take me to respond to you?
5 weeks.
At times, she sent me a message and at times, I genuinely didn't even see it though. I genuinely did not even just look at that message. And it just happens that way. Things like, for instance, let me make you guys laugh. Peace sends me an email for this meeting. I saw the email. I think she called me like 2 days after. I said, oh yeah, that let me check my calendar. I checked. I said, yeah, that's fine. And Peace was like, she now called me again. She said, I just thought to confirm. I said, confirm what again? She said, if you will come. I said, I will come now. She said, you didn't reply the email. I said, you're waiting for a reply. I should type reply. I said, Peace. I said, okay, if you're waiting for me to type reply, I will type reply. And I just typed a reply there, copied my assistant, and I was like, you guys should take on the conversation. You understand? So it's about that value, right? It's about that value, and don't take offense. If the person does not respond, just keep doing your own. Just keep watering. Just keep watering. Just keep watering. And that's it. Thanks a lot.
So much. Thank you so much, guys. All right. So we're just going to take the last question. Daniela asks, okay, this is for Mrs. So, how do you tell the quality contact non-quality of the bags? Because some people can surprise you. The question.
Yes, I did. Well, I'll be honest, right? And since we're being honest, I work with the Holy Spirit, right? So I'm usually very discerning in terms of selecting the people that I build and cultivate relationships with. So there's the place of wisdom, right? There's also a place of it still goes back to recognizing your value, also recognizing the season that you are in. Because when you understand the season that you're in, it also helps you in cultivating relationships. Because in one season, the people that you think may surprise you may then in another season be the ones that would, make you go further on your journey. Do you understand? So that's why it's good to be discerning when you're building relationships with people, because people change, right? In one season, they might seem like no future ambition, but in another season, you will just be surprised at how they've grown. And it only takes that inner discernment, right? So you're not also judging by the external circumstances in cultivating relationships with people. So for me personally, as a person, I typically lean on the Holy Spirit in building relationships with people. In secular language, that's using your emotional intelligence. That's what secular language is, using emotional intelligence, to be able to distinguish between the people that you should build relationships with in a season and the people that you shouldn't in a particular season. Anything can happen as you journey. Always bear that in mind, all right? And then, of course, you're able to leverage all the resources that people bring as at when needed. I hope that helps.